Hi, Nick Collier here, and this is my shop. Come join me. We'll have some fun. All right, well, Nick Collier here again. We're going to do another project. I don't know, about a month ago, a guy gives me a call and, and says, oh, I got a project for you. And I'm thinking, okay, it sounded like a really, a complicated project. But he shows up the other day, finally, and says, well, it's this. And basically what we're doing is adapting a pump to the front end of the engine of a Caterpillar tractor. Now, he brought me the nut. Can you see it? You can kind of see it. There we go. And basically what he wants me to do is he wants me to cut this part off and adapt it to a Lovejoy connector. Whoops, it's going to go this way. Except it's going to be out there at 9 inches. And it wants to be concentric to the spinning of the nut. Because, of course, this is the inside hub of the crankshaft of the engine. So we're going to have to cut this off. We're going to have to figure out some kind of machining to get the shaft to fit in here and to get it square, and then weld it up. And then from this line here out, and we're going to show you the little sketch that we made here. Can you see it? Yeah, you can see it. So there's the yellow nut. We've got to set the shaft. We've got to cut this end down so it'll fit. We've got to put a key in it, and we've got to make some flats here so we can get a wrench on it. So, not a complicated project, but it's going to be interesting, especially getting that coupler to fit the shaft perfectly. So, hey, stick with me. We're going to have a good time. Well, okay, so maybe you noticed, and I forgot to say something, but I had a little operation here the other day, and now I'm stuck in this goddamn sling for 6 weeks. Turns out that over the last 20 or so years, my heart has been moving slower and slower and slower and slower, especially at night when I'm asleep. And it got down to 24 beats a minute with periodic 3-second stops. And the docs were pretty concerned about that. So after tests and tests and tests and in and out of the doctor's office, they finally said, okay, we need to get you a pacemaker. Now, they've been saying this for 20 years, and I've been putting it off. But lately, it's been getting kind of, even I am agreeing. So yesterday, we went into the hospital, 5:30 in the morning, show up. They put me under for about an hour. They install a pacemaker. They didn't happen to say that I was going to be in a sling for the next 6 weeks, but at the end, after everything's over with, I'm getting ready to go home, and they hand me the sling and put it on me and say, okay, that stays on for 6 weeks. Yippee. But I can still use my arms. It just I can't raise my elbow any higher than about there, and this is to remind me not to raise my elbow. So for the next number of projects, I'm sure we're going to have this little baby on, and hey, it is what it is, right? At age 72, things start falling apart. Okay, so on with the show. So we're going to use the new clawsing. Let's go ahead and get in a little closer. Come down just a bit. There we go. Stop it from shaking. Okay, so We're going to use the little clausing to do this project, mainly because it's all set up to go, and I'm excited about using it. So the first thing I have to do is, I'm not going to be able to grab this in the chuck and be sure that this is square with the travel of the engine. But I am sure that this nut is consistent with the squareness of the crankshaft, because it comes straight off of the crankshaft. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to build a threaded bolt for this nut with a shoulder on it, and be able to screw this in to the shoulder, and then we would have what we want, and then we could take it off and put it back on, and know that everything's going to be okay. And then at that point we can machine this off, put the shaft in, get it squared up with the tailstock, and then everything will be fairly square and workable. So the first thing we're going to do is, excuse me, took a little plug of steel that's big enough to handle the size of the bolt with a shoulder, and we're going to turn that down. Okay. And we'll take it in about the size of the threads, and probably if we go just a little bit further, we'd be in good shape. Now this nut's going to stay in the lathe for probably 4 or 5 days while we get everything else set up. We're waiting till Monday for McMaster to send us a piece of 4140. Well, that last one didn't work. It gives me these long stringy ass things. That's not good. And I was taking 40 thousandths at a time, and I decided to try for 50. That's 25 per side, and it gave me that. So we're going to go back to 40. Yeah, nice little 1-inch chips. Nobody gets hurt on. Everybody's happy. So, our size. Ah, there it is. The size of our shaft is going to be, oh, looks like about an 1/8 inch smaller than that. Hey.
How's my honey doing?
Oh, I'm pretty good. All right, it's the next day, and we're going to bring this thing down to size. Maybe. And what was our size? It was, there we go. There's the minor diameter. Plus 155. So that's 1. There's 55. We're almost there. I'd say another 10, maybe 15. Let's see what we got. Okay, 50. So 20, let's go 20 on one side, see what we come up with. Let's see what that says. So we're sitting at 55 and we need to go to 35. We're actually sitting at 50. So we got 15 thousandths to go. Okay, so we've got our cut. That doesn't look good. Oh, that's just that vibration. And we've got a good square shoulder. And so I think what we need to do is put a good solid relief in here that's going to give us some distance so that our threads, there's no chance of the threads bottoming out before we actually hit that backstop. Alrighty. So we're going to take it down. Slowing it down. All right, I'm noticing that my my compound is a bit loose. Maybe we can take some of the vibration out. Snugging that down a bit. Yeah, it was pretty loose. All right, let's see what we got. Alright, let's just see how centered we are. Oh, not even close. Okay, there's another problem. Let's bring it up to somewhere close to center. Not much of a lip, but it's just chattering to beat hell. It's got a good sharp edge on it. Alright, I'll tell you what, we're going to go in with a regular bit, since obviously this lathe does not like to let's see if we can find something a little sharper. We'll be back. Okay, we're going to come in with a little bit, and I didn't mean sharper like sharper razor blade, but sharper angle bit. And this bit needs to definitely come up. Okay, we're just a little bit high. That's good. Okay, now we'll take this in and we'll cut our edge. And since we're not trying to cut a big piece of metal at one time, we can speed this thing back up again. Ready? Look at that, much better. We're going to actually get a cut out of this thing. And the other thing we want to do is get a 45 going on this surface here. And I think what we can do is just rotate this. Oops. And it doesn't have to be exactly 45. Well, we're not going to be able to do that. Somewhere in the general area of 45. Close enough. All right, that's a good start. We will get a decent thread out of that. Let's go find a bit that's cut at 60 degrees. All right, I knew I had one. That's 60 degrees at a bit of a turn, maybe a 30-degree turn, which is enough to get me what I need. So let's get this in place. There we go. Rotate it around. Yeah, now we're got plenty of clearance. Okay, so we got to figure out how we're doing here. And it's just a little too close for it. Let's loosen that up. Get this thing where we need it. I would say that looks pretty good. Snug it down. All right, now we're going to bring this thing into 12 teeth per inch. Yes, A, B, C. Okay. Which one's A, which one's B, which one's C? Okay, 12 threads per inch. We're going to go to B, which is the center one. And I'm assuming that our our thread gear is going to be here. Let's see what that looks like. All right, let's slow it back down. I'm thinking that's about 12 threads per inch. Let's come over and, let's get it squared up first. Because I think we're down pretty low. Yep. That looks good. All right, we're going to have to pull this out of gear pretty fast. All right, we are at 12. Okay, so now we come in. Okay, we're back. We got it all figured out. Everything's all set and ready to go. All we have to do now is cut the threads. And we're going to need a little bit of oil. And we're going in 78 thousandths. So the next thing we need to do, and actually, you know, we'll just go in most of the way and then test it with the nut. Okay, I know we're not even close, but I still want to test it and make sure. Yeah, not even close. So we're at 60 thousandths at the moment, and we want to go to 78. And I'm taking 5 thousandths increments at the moment, just to give the lathe a little bit of a break. All right, we're at 70 now. We're getting close. $75. Almost. I'll tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the top edges off because I didn't have the diameter right. And since this is just a test plug, it really doesn't matter. That's better. Still not there. All right. 0. Yep. And we're going to take another 5 to 80. We cut this off, and it turns out there's a spline inside of here, and that spline is perfectly centered. So, we've got it over on the big lathe because the little lathe, I can't take that bolt or the threads out. So we're going to square this up, and we're going to bore the spline out. And our shaft is 1 inch, so we'll just take it out to somewhere close to that. With my arm in a sling, I can't get a real tight grip on this, so it came loose. So I think we're going to get a little extension bar here. All right, let's give that a try. right, we got that squared up. I'm telling you, that's some hard ass metal. I think they came in and heat treated the splines. So, or case hardened them actually. So that's the spline. Now let's take a measurement of that and see what we got. And I'm hoping it's 1 inch. And that, I think what I'm going to do is just whatever it happens to be, I'll bring that 1 inch to that size. So we're at 9/10. So that's just about right. That's going to give us 1 inch. Will take us out just a little bit beyond that. It'll give us a nice seat. And then we'll throw a weld around that, and that's going to be solid as a rock. We'll be back. Probably tomorrow. All right. Well, we've got our sleeve turned, and we've got the spline. So now what we're going to do is bring this shaft down to the spline size, which is about 80 thousandths, and then press the spline on, and then weld the whole thing in place. So let's do the pressing first, or the cutting first. There. I think what I want to do, since we've got a spline and this is super hard material, we can kind of press this in, and the splines will just cut a new groove in it, and then we'll have a nice tight fit, and we'll be able to kind of adjust it back and forth to get the shaft right on the threads. Then we weld it. So next thing we're going to do is go over to the press and press this shaft in. Okay. All right, so we've got our shaft. We've got a little bit of a reduced edge there. We're going to put that right there. We're going to slide it right underneath. Let me taper that down a bit. Yeah, much better. Okay. Looks pretty good. Take it over to the lathe, see what we got.